Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be comparing the Westman Atelier liquid blender brush to the Real Techniques 260 brush. Are these a dupe? I'm going to cut straight to the chase. No, they are not. They are not a dupe for each other. I really was hoping that they were going to be a dupe for each other, but they are not. However, maybe the differences in the brushes is not big enough for you to choose between one and the other, or even buy the brush or choose the Westman over the Real Techniques. That's gonna be up to you and you make your own decision. The purpose of this video is to help you guys know the differences between the brushes before you purchase them. So the Westman Atelier brush retails for $125. Let's have a moment of silence for that. The Real Techniques retails for $11.99. Now, the Westman Atelier brush is a Fude brush. I did not pay $125 for this brush. I actually got this brush a little bit discounted because I bought it during a bundle during the holidays. So she actually did a bundle where you could buy all of her brushes. I think it was like $575 or something like that, and they ended up going on discount on Credo Beauty, if I'm not mistaken. So I ended up getting them for even, I think it was like 15% off on top of the fact that they were already discounted. So I did get quite a good deal on this brush, only because if you're not familiar with Fude brushes, they are handmade brushes in Japan. They are cut by hand, they are assembled by hand, painted by hand, the whole thing. So Fude brushes are much more expensive than just regular brushes. Real Techniques is synthetic brush. By the way, both are synthetic brushes, okay? Which was the reason I thought this would be a good comparison video for you guys. Both are synthetic brushes, but in the Fude world, you could find a lot of animal haired brushes, but Westman Atelier brushes are synthetic. Now, Real Techniques and this Westman Atelier brush, they're the same height, okay? And the bristles are also the same height. However, the Real Techniques one has a flat bottom, which allows you to set it on top of a surface, versus the Westman Atelier brush does not. However, I usually have either a bag that I put my brushes in, or I have a cup where I keep my brushes that I use. And so that to me is not something that is a necessity. I don't really preference a brush to be flat on the bottom so I can set it on a surface. So that's something that you have to decide if you prefer. Now, why these brushes are not, these two are not dupes, is the Westman Atelier one is much more densely packed. Although these bristles are the same height and they look like they are the same diameter, the Real Techniques one is slightly larger in diameter versus the Westman Atelier one is just a little bit smaller. The bristles are much more densely packed, and there is a lot less flexibility with this brush. The Real Techniques one, you don't realize this until you start using it, which is why I didn't clean the brushes for the purpose of this video. It's when you start to use the brushes is when you start to see what I'm talking about. So with the Real Techniques brush, because it's not as densely packed as the Westman brush, the bristles have a lot more flexibility. And that's an issue, because what starts to happen is when you start to press this brush up against the skin, it loses its shape completely. The bristles lay flat like so. It also causes the product to sink way into the bristles because there's so much space in between, as you can see, which in turn causes you to have to use a little bit more product than what you are used to. Now, this is just with subtle pressure, But if I continue to apply pressure, because you have to use this, you know, to cover your entire face, right? It'll just eventually lay completely flat, and in turn it leaves a lot of streakage on the face. Now, my recommendation is, if you decide to pick up this brush, is use it with a foundation that's not very dewy or liquidy. The purpose of why I use a brush like this is for my very emollient foundations, like Tower 28 Sunny Days foundation, my Westman Atelier Complexion drops, my Westman Atelier Poppet liquid super loaded highlight. These are very liquidy, very dewy foundations, just by the way I'm wearing on my face right now. And so that's why I prefer to use something like this. It does a good job at keeping something so runny and liquidy at the top, making it easier for me to blend on my skin and use less product because it's sitting right at the top. So it's allowing me to work with what I've just poured on to the brush. Now, I have done the whole foundation on the skin and going in with the brush. You're gonna have the same problem, because as you start to press this on the skin and you do these kind of circular motions, okay, whether you go up or down or side to side, whatever, however you decide to use it, the brush isn't going to keep its shape. So all it's doing is absorbing more product deeper into the bristles because it's not as densely packed. Which is why, if you did pick up this brush, I would recommend you use a foundation that's a little bit more dense, maybe something like the Glace foundation or liquid foundation, the stretch one, or the Chanel Ultra Latent foundation, or the velvet one that comes in the black packaging. Those are foundations that are a little bit more dense, and I feel like this brush works a little bit better with those kind of foundations. My only issue is it's the streaking. There's kind of no way around that. And so the best way I've been able to use this brush is actually with powder foundation, because then since the bristles are not getting wet, they don't lose their shape. And so for me, I just found that this Real Techniques 260 works wonderful with powder foundations. I would not be using this for any kind of liquid product because of the way that the brush was designed. And I will continue to use my Westman buffing brush here for the runnier, liquidier foundations that I use and that I love, and I know it's gonna be my go-to. Now, as far as cleaning the brushes, you clean them the same exact way. I use Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo, or I use my Beauty Blender, the charcoal soap, to clean my brushes. Both products work just as well. Very, very good to clean the brushes. However, do be aware that brushes like this take a lot longer to dry. So when you are gonna wash a brush like this, I recommend you leaving it out for several days to dry, because they are much shorter, they are much denser, and if you're not familiar with short, dense brushes, they just take a long time to dry. And so what I do is, when I clean these brushes, I will leave them out for 4 to 5 days drying, just to ensure that those bristles are completely dry, because there is nothing that I hate more than if I pick up a brush to do my makeup in the morning when I am in a hurry for work, and all to find out that that brush did not dry correctly, and now my foundation has gone on my face terribly and I have to start all over again. Yes. So These brushes are not dupes for each other. However, if you picked up this brush thinking that it was gonna be the same as the Westman and you have a lot of streakage and you were maybe disappointed with it, I would try using it with a powder foundation or a setting powder of some sort that you have lying around, and this brush will be really good for that as well. And that way it's not a waste of money and you are using your brush. Now really quick, because I've noticed that there are a lot of people that don't know that there is a description box below this video. There is, under the title, something that says more. If you click more, you will see everything that I have on my face for this video, because I do get a lot of questions like, oh, what eyeshadow are you wearing? What blush are you wearing? So that's where you will find all of that information, and I will run through it really quick for you guys, just for those of you who can't find it or whatnot. But I'm wearing the Westman Atelier Complexion drops mixed with a drop of the Poppet liquid super loaded highlight. I am wearing the Poppet blush from Westman Atelier. This is one of my favorite blushes that I love to wear during summer. For highlight today, I'm wearing the Westman Atelier highlighting stick in Nectar. Really beautiful shade, and I find that it pairs really nicely with Poppet. On my eyes, I'm wearing the Tabac eye pod from Westman and the Glace from Merit. I have these both layered together. And for eyebrows, I went very simple. I just did a little bit of the Westman brow pencil with my Merit brow gel in neutral. I'm almost done with this particular one, so I think that this is gonna be an empties for the month of August. I did apply a little bit of the Westman Atelier eyeliner to the top lash line, and I went in with my Westman Atelier mascara just to my top lashes in the color brown. For lips, I used the InnBeauty Project lip oil in Candy Apple. They did such a good job executing the scent of this lip oil, and I don't know why more people don't talk about these lip oils. They are so good, and I find these to be very similar, if not the same, to the Dior lip oils. I'm still using them and I'm still exploring them, so the verdict is still out, but for right now, I think we may have a dupe between these lip oils and the Dior lip oils, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. This is absolutely amazing. I have been really enjoying using these little lip oils. I digress, that's not the purpose of this video, but I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me your questions and your comments down below. I will do my best to answer all your questions in reference to these brushes. You can find the Westman Atelier brushes, Credo, Nordstrom, Sephora, Westman Atelier website, and the Real Techniques. I bought mine at Ulta, but you can find them on Amazon as well. They're just very good brushes. You can also find them at Target. They're very durable. They just were not the same when compared to each other. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.